What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Celine, and if you are new here and if you've just awakened or you're going through an awakening, in today's episode, I will be teaching you how to properly collapse timelines, the mechanics of time vector manipulation, and how to understand your DNA even more. I'm going to be stretching your consciousness a bit, so just listen. If you don't understand something, your higher self will receive it and slowly integrate it within your body. This is going to be an activation and a clearing. I think you are ready, so let's get started. In one of my early memories, I was a biospatial genome architect in Series B. We pulled together all the genetics from all races to house it in a human body. The human body holds time sequences. So imagine a reality that is infinite, interconnected web of potential timelines. Not just a linear progression, but this is a complex, multidimensional tapestry where every potential event exists simultaneously as a probability wave. The time vector mechanics is almost like an art of navigating through collapsing these probability waves through conscious intention and genetic frequency modulation. And so on a quantum level, every event exists in a state of superposition. Now, what is a superposition? Superposition is a fundamental principle in quantum mechanics. In a quantum system, such as an electron or a photon, this exists in multiple states or configurations simultaneously until it is measured. In classical physics, objects are usually in a single well-defined state at any given time. Quantum objects, however, they can exist in a combination of all possible states. The state of a quantum system is represented by a wave function, which is a mathematical expression that encapsulates all of the possible states of the system. This is often illustrated in the Schrödinger cat thought experiment. This is when a cat was in a box and simultaneously it was alive and dead until someone opened the box to observe it. The concept of superposition, this can be illustrated using a simple quantum system like a qubit in a quantum computing. A qubit, unlike a classical bit, can either be 0 or 1. However, in a superposition of both 0 and 1 states at the same time. The universe is a lot like the blockchain. This property is what provides quantum computers their potential power, as it allows these massive parallel processing capabilities. They can be in more than one state at once. It's like saying that you have this magic coin. They can be heads or tails at the same time, until you actually check them yourself. Another example is, let's say you have a friend who is both happy and sad. You won't really know until you ask them about how they're feeling. This concept is described as objects playing hide and seek and not knowing where they are until we check it. Superposition is all about the things being in multiple states at once. And it's like one of those ways that the tiny particles in the world act like they're playing a magic trick. Now, let's talk about the morphogenetic field. The morphogenetic field is this invisible spider web where everything is connected. When one part moves, the others can feel it. In Sheldrake's theory of morphic resonance, similar forms called morphs or fields of information exchange information within a universal life force. Similar ideas are seen in quantum information theory and quantum entanglement. Information in a morphic field is unraveled through several nodal points, where two or more points are created within an X, Y, or Z axis. Before you can even pass through another event, another node where you are at, this has to be validated before you can move on to the next event or your next life. If you haven't learned your lesson in your previous life, it's recorded in this repository of events in your DNA. The morphogenetic fields are comprised of templates of conscious light and sound, which then serves as blueprints on which matter and consciousness identity will then manifest. This occurs in a microcosmic and macrocosmic level and is part of the mechanics of creation. All matter forms of consciousness, including planetary bodies and human bodies, are all manifested through this morphogenetic form-holding imprints. The architecture of this manifestation template is what we call the 12-tree grid. The fabric of reality is arranged in distinct dimensions, each operating at a specific wavelength. Think of dimension as frequency bands, like radio channels, each broadcasting at their own unique frequency. These dimensions are not just solid or static, they're actually pulsating fields of energy. They're flashing on and off like a cosmic strobe of light. Now let me explain to you the building blocks of reality. Each dimension is built from what we call scalar waves. These are standing wave points arranged in a specific grid. Patterns is the particle and the matrix is the feminine principle, and they together intersect, creating this hologram, almost like a sheath or a grid. Imagine this field as a crystalline matrix made up of pure sound and light, forming a template for reality itself, like a projection. Within this matrix, countless points of vibration can create intrinsic tapestry of energy, and each point pulsating with its own consciousness. How do we experience our reality? Our everyday reality exists as a series of rapid flashes, particles and antiparticle states alternating like frames in a film. Sometimes when our consciousness shifts to a higher frequency, we can actually perceive these flashes. Similar to, when you have a deja vu, seeing individual frames in an old movie projector, where the reality appears to be strobe or flicker, revealing its underlying structure. Each dimension is precisely organized into geometric patterns formed by units of these crystallized consciousness made of sound and light. And so these create the morphogenetic field. From these templates, stationary points of vibration emerge, weaving together to create a resonant fabric of reality. The universe is a massive field of consciousness, the mind embracing and containing all forms where all experiences of reality and manifestation takes place. Our personal blueprint is also known as our personal morphogenetic field, and this expands to exist in a planetary level, the galactic level, the universal level, and multiverse levels. You can find several nodal points within your body, and all of these levels of manifestation templates, either it's your personal, the planetary, the galactic, universal, 12-tree grid, they're all nested together, interconnected of what manifests in our holographic reality. By us being here, we can correct history or prevent future outcomes. And through transmutation, feeling and changing the feedback loop within our bodies. When you go through Ascension and access each harmonic universe, you then expand and increase more of your light quotient. Because when you come down here, imagine coming from source, it takes light years and light years where you are now. So your light is being deduced. In order to receive more light, light is information, we clear distortions within our mind, body, and soul. We're all going through almost like a wave, and in the ocean, we can see reflection of the sun. You are still the sun. Together, we all coalesce, but we each individuate because we have our own unique configuration or soul blueprint. That's why you are me and I am you. And they help make sure that the world is just how it's supposed to be. They all fit together like a puzzle piece. This reflects in a microcosmic level here in our bodies, and our bodies are the mirrors of the whole universe. Have you ever wondered why they would target our food so much? It's to degrade our DNA. If you can capture the mind, you're not able to awaken the soul and the body. So this leaves humans in a low vibrational state that they can't activate their God Aton body, which is the switch to your galactic communication. This turns on your higher states of consciousness. The human body, with its intricate DNA, the architecture acts as a living quantum computation device that can intentionally collapse these wave functions through specific electromagnetic frequency patterns. Let's say your DNA is like your phone. It has several apps, several files, photos, videos, etc. These hold the memories of your lifetimes. And when we intentionally collapse patterns from inception point, those past timelines can be deleted, thus changing the current events that we see in our society. So everything that was on your phone, that app gets deleted, it gets taken off from the cloud in 8D, and that memory is no longer there. So you don't have to keep repeating these patterns anymore. One of my memories as a genetic architect, we had to come back in the past to fix the future. Human consciousness has been artificially limited, preventing a lot of the species here from accessing its multidimensional potential. And so the 12-strand diamond DNA, where you have more of your fractals of light, is the original God blueprint. Our primary mission here is to prevent human extinction by reactivating dormant genetic codes that allow conscious timeline navigation. Time is not linear, but simultaneously, this is existing as a unified field of particles with varying pulsation, rhythms, and spin axis. What you think has happened in the past is still happening, and what you think is happening in the future has already happened. The illusion of linear time arises from how your consciousness moves through this field, where your consciousness is stationed. The more that you ascend, the more vantage point you can see. It's like you are an eagle and you see what's coming. Each DNA strand is associated with a fire letter, which is a scalar wave program sequence that governs the strand's function. They also hold keys that can unlock each harmonic layer. When you reach the ceiling of, let's say, the first harmonic, you get up to your solar plexus, then you start to move into the second harmonic, which is your heart, and that's 4D time, 5D collective consciousness, and then 6D is the architecture. These fire letters are further composed of the base codes, the acceleration codes, and the vector codes. These create a complex system of electromagnetic information storage that can transfer. This makes time malleable because you can now slow down time or move time faster. So, why are we here on Earth? Humans are still so emotional. We are like babies compared to other star nations. If we cry or laugh around other aliens, the frequency would be too chaotic. In physics and energy terms, laughter or emotions are a fascinating vibrational force that can create these ripple effects. And why is that? Think of it like this. When you laugh, you're not just making a sound. You're creating this powerful energetic vibration. Your whole body becomes involved. Your diaphragm contracts, your vocal cords vibrate, your face muscles engage, and you release this burst of electromagnetic energy through this expression. Laughter and other vibrations can create this unique frequency pattern that can actually interfere with other energy patterns. It's almost like you're throwing a stone in a pond, and then the ripple can disrupt existing wave patterns in a controlled system. So humans are like a virus. If you have a room full of people all in one neutral mood, which is one kind of energy system, one person's authentic laughter or emotion can completely break that system. It's like you're throwing a random variable into a perfectly organized equation. It changes everything. Having karma or miasma are dark distortions that can infect a controlled system. Earth is not just a learning school. It is a puzzle school or an incubation room where they all seated us here. We're all quarantined here, unable to get out, and we're not sovereign until we go through the ascension process, go through the spiritual purification. And so by living in alignment and moving through each dimensional field, the 15 dimensions of ascension, you become this Christed being, just like Jesus or the Buddha. Being a Christos, it's like attaining your PhD in life, and you become a sovereign cosmic citizen. That means that you don't have to reincarnate back here anymore. There are only a few times that there's opening in the time matrix, and this period is one of them. This happens every 26,000 years. In yoga, they call it the Kali Yuga. Many souls choose to exit because they have been here for a while or their soul contracts have already ended. It all depends on their soul contracts. Some can ascend to whatever dimension, or some would log back into Earth to learn more lessons. Most contemporary humans operate only in a 3 to 3.5 DNA strands activated, with the potential of activating 4 to 12 remaining dormant. These are called the junk DNA, and this is seen as part of the distortion within the DNA, where it's representing the inactive portions of the 12-strand template. DNA activation is the process of progressively assembling and activating these dormant strands, leading to a more expanded consciousness and ability to perceive and interact with higher dimensions. If you are not expanding your DNA or advancing it, you are degrading your DNA. DNA activation to the evolution of human consciousness and having the ability to transcend the limitations of linear time and three-dimensional reality. DNA fire codes are also described as genetic time codes. They are the ones that are regulating our body's relationship with time, and this enables consciousness to transport between different time fields. This suggests that time travel in accessing the memories of simultaneous incarnation and other cycles. The role of epigenetics, the study of how environmental factors and experiences can modify gene expression without altering the underlying DNA sequence. This challenges many of the deterministic view of genes, and we actually have more agency in shaping our health and destiny than we previously perceived. Our genes are the script, and our experiences are the directors, making changes to the script, how it is interpreted and expressed. This is a very profound impact on our environment, our choices, and even with our ancestral experiences that is expressed through our genetics. Transgenerational trauma, where trauma experiences from previous generation, this can leave several epigenetic marks on our DNA, which influences our present reality. If our ancestors had a lot of slavery, lack, addiction patterns, abuse patterns, this can also manifest in your current life. This highlights the importance of addressing trauma, not just individual healing, but also for the well-being of future generations. This is why chronic diseases are passed down within our DNA until there's a chosen one in the family that is processing this. If your life sucks now, you can change it because you might be carrying a lot of karmic load that's not even yours, which needs to be cleared so that your life can get better and you can get to a much higher timeline. For example, both of my parents are diabetic. I was pre-diabetic because it's in my epigenetic pattern. Addiction to self-abuse patterns, excessive sugar intake can be a form of numbing discomfort and perpetuating negative cycles. I had to really heal that within myself so that I don't become diabetic like my parents do, because I was using food for comfort, and food is just food. It's not love. We have to really learn to love ourselves, to make better choices, and to create healthy habits. Sugar carries a frequency similar to fear, And fear is mostly found in our liver, in our pancreas, kidneys, and this frequency can negatively impact our organs and system. It can perpetuate a cycle of anxiety and low vibration. I can go on and on about sugar, but it's literally so evil. But anyway, moving on. Events like the Ascension period of 2012 to 2017, many of these opportunities enabled us to accelerate DNA activation and the evolution leaps in consciousness. These are specific time periods in the cosmos. So just like in the blockchain, these act as a secure and distributed system for storing and transmitting information. Everything is extended from the center and returns to the center. It is an internal cycle of unfolding and refolding. The universe has no beginning and no end. The idea of all creation is universal and omnipresent, but the counterpart of that idea is created things in sequential in time and place. Each sequential cycle unfolds and refolds, repeating patterns in nature. The universe is eternally repeating transient form of ideas. Earth isn't an isolated system. It's a vibrational frequency directly influences and is influenced by other planetary and galactic consciousness networks. That's why the Stoics, they love to study about the cosmos because it all connects together like a network. Think of it like this vast living neural network where each planet is a neuron and constantly exchanging information and influencing collective evolutionary trajectories. Everything is like the blockchain with nodes. What happens here on Earth also affects other planets and other beings because we are all linked in the tree of life. Why is it important to clear our karma or patterns? This is how the transmutation process works. First, frequency resonance mapping. It's what I do with my one-on-ones. The human body contains crystalline structures in DNA that acts as this quantum frequency receivers. These structures can be deliberately tuned to specific electromagnetic frequencies. And so by matching the vibrational signature of a desired timeline, one can begin to collapse alternate potential events. When I'm in my one-on-one session with my clients, I know my baseline frequency and I mirror your patterns, and then I clear it within my body through transmutation and the help of your highest self and the help of my highest self. Your highest self picks a higher timeline probability and we put you into that order and you just ride that wave. So that pattern is collapsed. However, there are still layers like an onion because you've had thousands of lifetimes. But when you live in alignment, you can get to a much better future or manifest your desired reality. Next is neurological recalibration. Your nervous system is very important. Specific meditations and energy practices can activate dormant neural pathways. These pathways serve as a quantum entanglement bridges between different timeline potentials. When you experience a Kundalini activation, this is essentially a neurological reprogramming that allows you to have a more complex wave function interaction. So when you get your Kundalini, like I've had in 2019, it's like your circuit board is suddenly switched on. Your sacrum is the engine of your body, and it shoots up all of these energy in your systems, and it wakes up all of your organs. Humans, through our thoughts and actions, can actively participate in this ongoing creation of the universe, potentially influencing the manifestation of the blueprint held within the cosmic cube matrix. Cosmic cube matrix, or the tesseract in 4D, is this four-dimensional cube is presented as this container of the fundamental blueprint of creation. This geometric structure symbolizes a higher order of organizing principles that govern the manifestation of reality. This is where the multiverse theory comes in. Why is our nervous system so important in creating your reality? Just like what Tesla said, 369, Your vibration, frequency, and resonance is where your consciousness is stationed, and that is what will manifest in the events in your life. A regulated nervous system is the key to experiencing time a lot more fluid and being present in the now, because now you're doing quantum tunneling where you're collapsing time. Because you are in the 0 point, you have more access of several timelines. And so being in the present moment, you're not thinking anxiously about the future, or you're not worrying about the past. You have better likelihood of reaching a higher probability in your life. In the 0 point field, when the mind and body are connected to the present moment, time feels like it slows down. The state of presence allows for greater expansion, which leads to more access to knowledge, wisdom, and vitality. We do not perceive reality directly, but rather we decode it through our 5 senses. This process is governed by our nervous system, but we have a lot more senses than that. Our brain will actually translate a lot of these waveform information that we receive through our senses because of these electrical signals, resulting in our holographic representation of reality. Our physical body is the manifestation of these pulses. These pulses can be found in our cells, muscles, fascia, organs, skin. One day, we will see that there is no division between mental, emotional, physical aspects, and this is what holistic, integrative medicine is. Healthcare has disregarded nature when it is literally nature that heals us, because we are nature. We are Gaia cells, and the cosmos is within us. If you destroy the planet, it keeps humans suffering as well. And there is a vast interconnection of human health, environmental biodiversity, and planetary consciousness. All 3 mental, physical, and emotional bodies are all one state. If one is weak, our whole Jenga tower will crumble down and fall. But just like how water has solid, liquid, and gaseous states, the being has a mental, emotional, and physical state. Someday, atheist scientists will understand that spirit and divinity is all part of the whole system that they have studied so much, and you can't separate this. You can't quantify what is unquantifiable. The more coherent and focused our intention, the more precise the timeline manipulation. We are not bound by the constructs of reality, but we are part of the infinite field of potential that extends far beyond what we can perceive. Each planet operates like a living conscious entity and has its own vibrational signature. Earth's current evolutionary crisis creates ripple effects across multiple dimensional layers. So lower vibrational states on Earth generates disruptive frequencies on other planets. These frequencies interfere with the potential of evolutionary pathways of connected planetary system. The genetic architects are essentially performing a quantum healing intervention, attempting to restore more harmonious or evolutionary trajectory. There were several wars that had happened, such as the Lyran Wars, and the planet Nibiru had exploded. There were the Orion Wars, the Electric Wars, the Fallen Angelic Wars, the Luciferian Rebellion, and many more. There are 2 paths back to source. However, the path of divine will, which is the law of one, and there is the path to chaos. They decided to hide this blue cube, which is the Tesseract, back in time so that no single entity can have it and take over the whole 12-tree grid. The Extinction Prevention Protocol. The genetic architects have identified multiple potential extinction scenarios that can happen in humanity: technological self-destruction, ecological collapse, genetic devolution, consciousness fragmentation. By reactivating dormant DNA codes, they aim to expand human perceptual capabilities, restore multidimensional communication abilities, activate higher order problem solving through expanded awareness, create more resilient, adaptive human genetic template. practical transmission techniques, such as individuals can begin engaging with these principles through advanced meditation practices, quantum coherence breathing techniques, specific sound frequencies exposure like sound baths, deliberate electromagnetic field cultivation. Our bodies have figured out how to keep tabs on all sorts of changes happening around us. We're taking tabs on everything: electrical stuff, gravity shifts, different frequencies buzzing around, light particles. That's what protons are. Air pressure, magnetic fields, you name it. Our body is on it. What's really cool is that our body doesn't just notice these changes. It's constantly chatting with the environment, exchanging energy back and forth. It's like the never-ending conversation between ourselves and the world around us. If you've noticed animals, it's the same way. Now, why do we go through all of this back and forth? It's creating a lot of these huge databases within us. Because we are the cells, we return a lot of these memories to 8D, which 8D is the network. Think of it as the back office of the universe. We are constantly updating its files, but instead of ones and zeros, it's using molecules in our cells and our atoms. These molecules get organized in specific ways, almost like they're preparing for what's coming next. Why does our body bother with all of this? Well, because it's getting ready for this cycle of change. You know how sometimes the weather app tells you that there's a storm coming? You grab your umbrella. It's kind of like that, but on a cellular level. Your body is preparing for when the frequencies might shift. It can adjust to the magnetic field. The whole system helps us to adapt at our environment. It's part of why we can survive in so many different conditions here on Earth. Our bodies are constantly reading the room, so when we speak or making tiny adjustments, this keeps us in harmony with the world around us. So we know when it's going to snow or we know when it's going to be hot. This isn't just about preventing extinction. It's a profound reimagining of human potential. Seeing consciousness not as something that happens in the brain, but a fundamental force that can be deliberately shaped and directed. As genetic architects view humanity as the potential of crucial node in the vast, interconnected cosmic consciousness network, we humans help to recover multidimensional capabilities that we're not just saving species, but potentially we are preserving a critical evolutionary pathway for the collective universal consciousness. It's a pretty big deal being here. If you want to help change the course of history, here's how you can do it. When you feel emotions, it is signaling that you are recollecting an event in your life through the feedback loop of our memories. Our nervous system is our internal timekeeper. This dictates the speed of which it processes information and experiences directly, shapes how we perceive the time flow. When our nervous system is in a state of hyperarousal, like when we are experiencing anxiety, it processes information rapidly. This is creating a sense of that time is speeding up. Conversely, when you are in the state of hypoarousal, as in depression, processing slows down and time seems to drag. Trauma and nervous system dysregulation distorts the perception of time. The trauma can leave an imprint on our nervous system, keeping it in a heightened state of alertness, primed for danger. This chronic stress response can lead to difficulty regulating emotions, a disconnect from the present moment, and a sense of being out of sync with time. So by clearing energetic blockages and raising our vibrational frequency, healing our nervous system, we can experience time more expansively and access different timelines or realities. I will leave you with this prompt for your higher self on how to collapse timelines. When you experience a heightened emotion, for example, higher self, please show me the patterns of feeling like I'm not good enough. Find it within your body, and then you ask your higher self, What age did this pattern show up in this lifetime? Find that in your body. And where do you feel it? Then connect two patterns with your intention and awareness in the body space to collapse the entire wave function. And then you say, highest self, I now collapse this pattern, energetically clearing the way for new intentions and manifestations. When we clear patterns in our body, we can clear karma. We collapse those timelines and we have better events show up in our reality. By focusing our attention and energy on what we want to create, we can experience the probabilities and attract experiences that align more with our vision and our resonance. Mastering time is not just about controlling it in a linear sense, but about experiencing it more fluidly and multidimensionally. I hope that this is helpful. I know this is a lot, but let it integrate. In our next video, we will be discussing more about dimensions, diving deeper into it, our nervous system, patterns, aliens, and so many more. You can follow me at my socials at blockmage222, and on my shop, I have one-on-one consultations, meditations that are encoded with frequencies to assist you in your ascension journey. Like and subscribe if you haven't. Until next time, peace.